Hey, welcome to the first trick tip video of 2024. We're on the mini ramp because I have 3 incredible tricks that I believe you as a beginner skateboarder can learn in one day. Let's get it. As a beginner skateboarder, sometimes it can be hard to learn tricks, especially on a mini ramp. So this video is for my beginner skateboarders. I believe with knowing just a few basic tricks, you can learn these 3 tricks. And they are the half cab rock to fakey, which is when you go up the ramp fakey, you do a 180 with one of your trucks up on the deck, one down below, you rock, and you go back fakey. The half cab rock and roll, that's where you go up the ramp fakey, you do a 180, land and rock, but then you continue the motion and you do a rock and roll with another 180 degrees. And one of my favorites, a half cab rock to body varial. And that's when you go up the ramp fakey, you do a 180, you land and rock, but then your body jumps and you do a body varial 180 degrees, you land back on the board, and then you go in regular. So before you try these tricks, you need to know a few basic tricks first. The first one is a rock to fakey. The next trick you want to learn how to do is a backside rock and roll. And the last trick I would recommend you know how to do is kind of a funky one, but is a rock body varial, and then you go back in regular. Okay, so when you do these tricks, your feet are pretty much gonna be in about the same spot for every single trick, and my feet go right here. So my front foot goes directly over the bolts, and then my back foot's right here, and this is on the tail. And this is gonna make it to where you can move the board with your back foot and put pressure on your front foot so that you can rock and go back in, or you can turn and rock and roll. So the first trick I'm gonna show you how to do is the half cab rock to fakey. The way that you're gonna do this trick, you're gonna drop in on 1/4 pipe and you're gonna rock to fakey on the opposite side of the mini ramp. When you go back in, make sure you have enough speed so that when you turn, your front truck can go up on top of the deck. So as you approach the mini ramp, your feet are gonna be set up fakey, and as you get about halfway up the ramp, first you're gonna start turning your shoulders, and from there, you're gonna press down with your back foot on the tail, and you're gonna allow your shoulders to rotate your hips, your knees, and your feet 180 degrees. So from there, you're gonna stop and slow down your speed just a little bit on the way up, because as soon as you do that 180, you're gonna press down on your front foot, and then you're gonna land and rock. The main thing you wanna do to stop yourself from keep going and doing the full 180, which is the other rock and roll, which we're gonna learn in just a second, you wanna stop the rotation. And the way you do that is making sure that your shoulders are actually parallel to the coping. Because when your shoulders are parallel to the coping and you press down with your front foot, you're gonna be in rock. So your back wheels are not gonna be on the ramp on the bottom anymore, and it's gonna stop that rotation. You'll feel the timing to where it's time to lift up your front foot, press down on the tail and lift up, do a small manual on the way back in, bend your knees and ride away. The next trick I'm gonna teach you is the half cab rock and roll. And this is seriously one of the funnest mini ramp tricks that you can learn as a beginner skateboarder. I remember learning this trick when I was a teenager, and I did it literally everywhere. So it's gonna be very similar to the half cab rock to fakey. What you're gonna do, make sure you rock to fakey on the other side of the mini ramp and have enough speed so that when you pivot, you can still land in that rock position. So you're gonna do the exact same thing here. As you go up the ramp, start turning your shoulders first, and that will allow your hips, your knees, your toes to follow. You're still gonna press down with your front foot so that you land in that rock position, but you're not as worried as your shoulders being parallel to the coping. You actually kind of wanna let them keep going. It's not even a bad thing if when you get into the rock to where your rock is a little bit sideways in the direction that you want to keep going. So from here, you're gonna go up, you're gonna land in rock. Your back foot needs to be in the pocket so that when you lift up, you're not gonna go straight back down, but you're actually going to turn that 180 degrees. A good way to be able to do that is when you land in rock, look over your back shoulder, because as soon as you look over that back shoulder, your shoulders are gonna start moving as well. So when your head is looking somewhere, the rest of your body is gonna follow that way as well. Another thing I would recommend is when you do this trick, make sure to bend your knees so that you are aware and ready for that last 180 degree turn. So you can do that rock and roll, you can bend your knees, and you can ride away. All right, and the last trick, like I said, one of my favorite tricks to do because it's one of those ones that people never expect, is a half cab rock body varial. Also, comment down below what you think the name of this trick should be, because I feel like half cab rock body varial is like a super lame name. So comment what you would call it down below. So the way that you're gonna do this trick, you're gonna approach the ramp fakey, very similar to the other 2 tricks. You wanna make sure that you have enough speed so that you can turn 180 degrees. You're gonna press down on that front foot to land and rock, but here's where it's different. The other thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna keep your shoulders perpendicular to the coping. You're almost gonna keep your hips perpendicular as well. you'll see that when you get into this trick, when you're able to turn your hips, it makes it a lot easier that when you jump into that body varial, that your shoulders and your hips are already set up. So it's gonna be a lot easier for you to do the 180 and still land on the trucks. My biggest piece of advice here is when you do the 180, you wanna try your absolute hardest to land on the bolts. When you first start doing this trick, you definitely don't wanna land in the middle of the board, and you do not wanna land outside of the trucks. Depending on what board you have, how long you've skated it, if you do either one of those, there's a chance that board could break, and you definitely don't want to be doing a 180 and breaking your board at the same time. So make sure you look for those bolts, and as you land there, you're gonna make sure your front foot is leaned a little bit closer to the nose. You're gonna press down on that nose, do a small nose manual on the way in, lift up that back truck, and as soon as it gets below the coping, bend your knees right away, and if you're skating with some friends, see what their expression looks like. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoy learning those 3 tricks for beginner skateboarders. As skateboarders, we should always be progressing, learning new things, or relearning old things. And speaking of which, it's the beginning of the year. I haven't been able to skate this ramp because it's been snowy for like the past month. So now that I'm warmed up, I'm actually gonna skate the ramp for a little bit, and I'm gonna try to do 10 different tricks that I've not done in almost a month. All right, we just finished up a super fun session on the ramp. Like I said, I'm just trying to do some of the tricks that I learned last year, or some of the normal tricks that I do because I've not skated all of 2024. So I hope you guys have an incredible 2024 when it comes to you skating, just learning new tricks, or most importantly, just having fun on your skateboard. Comment down below if this video actually helped you learn some of those tricks, or if you have some trick tips that you think would help someone learn those tricks. Make sure to comment those down below. We have a bunch of other trick tips that are right here on the screen. Make sure to check those out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Happy 2024.